Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Deus, at Nick Deus10 on Twitter. At Veterans Minimum is where you can find the show. You still have until Halloween. Yes, trick or treat, bitch. Go to the Patreon, $10 tier or higher. You can
So Joey Diaz, trick or treat, cocksucker.
and you can be eligible to win a NFL helmet, replica helmet of your choosing, whatever team you want to choose. $10 tier or higher, patreon.com/veterans minimum. And while we're here, let's just rattle off the Patreon because I'm excited to get to this show. Derek Platees, Christopher Velasquez, Ryan Pisner, Devin Rendon, Mike Wozniak, Jordan Riley, Stephen Briggs, and shouts to my guy Matt Marcus for joining the Patreon in the $10 tier. Okay. My guy looking sexy as hell. Look at you go.
There's a lot of work going on right now.
Oh, man. Dude, congrats on the sex early if you get some later. You know what I'm saying?
Focused. But we're here. Not a great slate from previous week, but I think it was pretty eventful. The Chiefs are in crisis mode.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts is going to be the best tight end in the league by 2022. And, oh, man, the Manning cast is back. And Marshawn Lynch, Blue Wire, can you hire him?
Yeah.
He's going to be very, very expensive, but you got to hire him.
Yo, the Manning cast is unbelievable. It's so good. Also, the Tom Brady soundbite where he was like, I loved all the games that we played together. He's like, nothing. I didn't like the ones I played with Eli as much. And then Eli was like, I loved all our games, Tom.
As a Giant fan, you got to love the Manning cast because you know how much like nostalgia it is because they bring up past ones. Like even Marshall was talking about, you spun around and threw it in the dude with the helmet. Like,
yeah. Oh, man. That was so good. Yeah.
Good thing they were back. And the timing was perfect because, boy, that Monday night game, it was a tough watch. It was very Thursday night football-esque.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was ever a worse slate of like primetime games this previous week.
Well, this week is going to be pretty good. You got Packers, Cardinals. You got Vikings, Cowboys. And
points will be scored Monday night.
Monday night.
You know the Chiefs aren't stopping anybody.
Giants and Chiefs. And because their defense is so bad,
Yeah.
I think it makes it more appealing. You got Tony's back at practice, Barkley, Shepard, Galladay. It's going to be fun, man. And you're going to have the Mannings on that cast too. That's going to be good.
Right.
That's going to be good. But, yo, I want to get to this. This is one of my favorite things that we do. Hypotheticals, fake trades. We got the deadline coming up next week. I asked you to compile a couple of names. And look, you can phrase this however you want. You think it's going to happen. You would like to see it happen. You know, a little wrestling fantasy book in here.
I try to go a little bit more of a logical route. Try to think they're realistic.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Most of mine are realistic.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to see, at this point, I would love to see Brandon Ayuk get a fresh start. That might be a little harsh, but I just don't get what's going on with San Fran. But at the same time, I don't see San Fran giving up on a first-round pick. They trade out a lot of draft capital up already.
Yeah. Yeah, some of mine are a little rational. Some of them would be pipe dreams. But for the most part, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Set us off. Give us a fake trade or one that you would like to see.
I want to see Fletcher Cox on the Chargers.
Wow. I had someone else in mind for the Chargers, but okay. They need a lot of help up front.
To me, the Eagles, they should be major sellers. Like, the Eagles, like, they were starting the rebuild. Now they got to ramp up the rebuild. You already saw with Zach Ertz. I know the Philly fan base, they're loyal, and it'd be hard to see two franchise legends trade into similar the same season would be. I think it'd be hard. It would be hard to take, given how much both players, Zach Ertz and Fletcher Cox, have contributed to the franchise. But I think Philly's in sell mode now. And the Chargers, they just need something up front. Like, to me, I think they're the worst team in the league against the run, I think, per DVOA. Like, they desperately need something up front. And even though Fletcher Cox is definitely not the same player he was 2-3 years ago, he's still someone that could absolutely generate pressure and clog up running lanes. I think the issue right now with Philly, you watch them, like, they have some of the most atrocious linebacker play I think I've ever seen. Like, their linebackers are like 8 yards away from the line of scrimmage. They don't do anything. And I think it's very easy for Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave to get double teamed. So that's why I think Fletcher Cox is having a down year. You put him in a new system, pair him alongside Joey Bosa, I think there's going to be a lot of chaos being created. So, the guy's I think he's like 32 at this point. Give him on a contender and let him cook.
So the Chargers give up 5.4 yards per carry. It's the worst in the NFL. They are second in total yards given up on the ground. However, the Texans are first by about 50 yards, give or take, 45 to be exact. 216 attempts on the Texans to 179. So they are getting smoked on the ground. Right. And also, like, the analytics back it and the numbers back it that they're bad against the run, but just the eye test, everyone is rushing for 150 yards against them.
It just, what helps them is that they put the lead, at least so far this season, so that's why the rushing attempts are lower.
Yeah.
But it just, when you're going to start playing these big teams like a Baltimore, I know Baltimore surprisingly didn't totally shred them, but they had enough effectiveness. But whether they play, say, like the Titans or even a team like the Bills, who have been much more efficient
Dude, I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's one of the games we're going to highlight. Chargers, Pats. The Pats just ran wild on the Jets.
Right.
And now you got the Chargers who got gas on the ground. It's going to be interesting.
Because I think these teams realize, given how susceptible they are to be on the ground, but also it's like we got to keep this Chargers offense off the field as best we can. So a team like the Patriots, they're built for this ball control style offense, very conservative, not going to take too many vertical shots downfield. Let's just control the ball, hopefully get maybe for like 38 minutes and just do everything we can to keep the Chargers offense off the field. So, yeah, it'll be a good test. But I just think Chargers, they're here to contend now. Why not make a big splash?
Okay. I have a wide receiver. Let's get my guy Brandon Cooks out of Houston.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I don't know why I said my guy. I think he's the most overrated wide receiver.
For so
he's the
long.
most overrated wide receiver I think I've ever seen. Let's get him on Green Bay.
Yeah, I feel like Green Bay for the past 3-4 years, it's like, all right.
Even longer.
Yeah.
Even longer. Just get another receiver
please.
out there.
I remember like Emmanuel Sanders, get him there. Maybe Golden Tate a few years ago, get him there. Like at this point, and given what's going on with how much COVID's affected them, maybe they do make a move.
Yeah. But Brandon Cooks, man, dude is still playing at a high level. It's just not appearing really that much. It's not making headlines because the team is so bad. Mm-hmm. But he's a speedster. Yeah. He's become more of a complete wide receiver, runs a lot of different routes on the route tree, not just a home run threat like he used to be. Like early on, he was a slant and a go guy. Yeah. Now it's more complete. And I think any receiver that's going to be opposite of Davante Adams, you're going to get amazing coverage. You're never going to get doubled. And you need someone to take that load off of Davante Adams, I feel like. Right. Because when you start playing better teams, I think you could game plan away from him.
I think Davante Adams has accounted for 41% of Green Bay's reception yards, or receiving yards, excuse me. Like 41%.
Yeah, that's wild.
So let's hope it happens. It's just with Green Bay's front office, it's just you kind of like, all right, we don't expect it, but it's good to dream.
Give me another one.
I've kind of focused on teams that I expect to be sellers. That's how I looked at it. So I'm looking at the New York Jets. It doesn't seem like they're going to re-sign Marcus May to a long-term deal. Let's get Marcus May to a contender. The thing is, a lot of teams, particularly in the NFC, are kind of stacked at safety. You look at teams like Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Arizona. Like, teams are very settled there. The one team that I think has some cap room and kind of looks dysfunctional safety, Dallas Cowboys. And I could see the Cowboys making a splash for Marcus May. Just give him that complete safety, someone that could play deep, but then also could play in the box, be a physical presence. I just think they need that right now. You saw, particularly in that Patriots game, DeMonte Casey, who was a mess in Atlanta, now comes back to Dallas. Now joins Dan Quinn in Dallas, and he's just someone that is always at position, not very disciplined. I just think the Cowboys, if they're going to really push, they got to get another game changer defensively. Maybe Marcus May is not a game changer, but he's above average player, and he's a great leader as well. So I think Dallas should make a push for that, especially given that defense, they just need more there. Like, I just don't think they have enough to really compete with the best. So if they can make that move, be on the lookout for them.
I like it. Yeah, they could use some help, and I don't think they re-sign him either. Jets are in a weird spot because now that draft pick that they got from Seattle looks even better with how they're struggling. However, you also got to see what that draft pick is going to turn into, right? It's always promising when you have all these assets, but if they don't turn into players, then how good are they? Okay, I feel like an even trade. I think it helps out both teams.
Oh, so this is multiple.
So there's a guy going to one team, and that team is going to send another guy back, right? Marlon Mack to the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, could work because Colts definitely need some speed.
They need some speed. Ty has played, I believe, just one game. Then he got hurt right after Houston.
Can't really depend on him anymore.
Yeah, at that point, Michael Pittman is a flat-out baller. He is clearly a number one wide receiver, and it still seems weird. We're talking about it with Impy on the last show. How it still seems a little weird to plug him into your lineups with confidence. But this dude is playing. He's top 5 in snaps at wide receiver, so he's always out there.
Yeah.
And him and Carson Wentz have been clicking the last couple of games.
And he's a vertical threat too. He's just not a speedster, but he's someone that could win those contested catches. Like the pro comp for him was Vincent Jackson, and it couldn't have been more perfect. Like you watch Michael Pittman, and it's very reminiscent of Vincent Jackson, especially the way he just goes up and gets it. And even after a catch, he's dangerous. So yeah, I love Michael Pittman, but then again, he's not something you still need in that offensive speedster because Paris Campbell hasn't really been cutting.
He's another guy who's been in and out the lineups with injuries.
So I think because they have like so many tight ends there, but they don't have that true speedster. So yeah, I like that move. And Kansas City when it comes to running game, I don't know what to make of that, but
I feel like Marlon Mack he could be a starter on a couple of teams. However, now Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Taylor might be.
Oh,
he's a top 5 back, man.
Absolute stud.
Dude's a
baller. I just don't know what to expect from Matt because we really haven't seen the past 2 years. But it'll be.
Well, yeah, coming off that Achilles injury, but he's gotten some carries and he still looks explosive.
And I'm not sure how much Kansas City wants to get rid of a player they highly invested in. Like obviously we're talking about the Chiefs later, but like Edwards-Helaire, Mecole Hardman, these were 2 players they drafted. They set out like. We want to make our offense, we're already the best offense in the league. Let's make it now unstoppable. And they pinpointed these 2 players. And obviously these 2 players have underachieved. But are they so willing to go up on them so soon? I'm not so quite sure.
Give me another one.
Well, we talked about a little bit beforehand. Your favorite player, someone that I still think could do something in this league, Evan Ingram. I want to see Evan Ingram go to the Bengals. I think they could use.
Are they going to give us Jamar Chase back?
Should be happy about Tyler Boyd. Get another slot receiver. That's what they need.
Yeah, more slot guys.
Just get more slot receiver. Even though CJ Uzama, surprisingly, I just thought he was a pure blocking tight end. He could actually make things happen after a catch. Both touchdowns against the Ravens. Like I was shocked at how well he can move after a catch.
Dude, and even that game on Thursday Night Football against the Jaguars, he's the one that scored the game-winning touchdown.
Right, so he can move. Well, why not? I think Cincinnati, low risk, high reward, get Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram runs a 4.4. He's someone going to be a vertical threat. I just think he needs a change of scenery and be an offense. And look, you got to live with the drops, maybe a couple of the mental mistakes, but I think there's enough talent there where you could salvage something. It's just not going to be with the Giants. So why not with the Bengals?
Evan Ingram checks all the boxes of a guy who needs a fresh start because it has gotten so bad with him. In the beginning, it was. He's a hell of a player. Can he just stay healthy? And then he stays healthy, and can he catch a pass?
Right.
And then it was a combination of both. He couldn't catch a pass, and also he just was constantly in and out the lineup. Right. So he's a guy who he's still young. The talent is there, like you're saying. He never took that leap into that Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz 2 years ago range, talent-wise. You thought he could be a top tight end in the league. And I just think that from the moment that they got him, they didn't really do him any favors. They signed Golden Tate, who played in a position on the field that he loved to line up out of, and he was very effective. I would trade Evan Ingram for like an extra timeout a game, though, at this point. Okay. Anything I could get would be nice.
Okay. Zach Taylor could give that.
Yo, the last one that I have is Xavier Howard.
This is a dream right here because there's no way this happens.
Yeah, because they just paid him too. Yeah. But, they're on a 6-game losing streak. They're 14-point underdogs to the Bills coming off a bye.
It's understandable.
So let's say 7 straight losses, right? Just if we're using the win bet odds. Him on Kansas City.
I mean, they need anything at this point.
And just defense.
Yeah.
I know it's the second time that I'm mentioning Kansas City, but I think it was a mistake. Gilmore going to the Panthers at the time, you're like, oh shit, this defense is up and coming, and they're exceeding expectations.
Boy, that went south quick.
Oh yeah. Apparently, Sam Darnold has a worse QBR with the Panthers than I think only one time did he have a better QBR with the Jets. Like it's even worse than when he was with the Jets.
Well, you
can't blame the talent now. So. Shouts to PJ Walker, XFL GOAT.
Made a good appearance, but Yeah, they need anything on this point, and Xavier Howard would be a huge difference maker. It's just, here's the thing, just to bring it back. The Chiefs have the second most expensive defense in the league.
I saw that.
Besides the Broncos, think about that.
At least the Broncos defense is
Moderately good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, so, like, it would be hilarious if they somehow put Xavier, because Xavier Howard, as we know, is one of the most expensive players in the league. So imagine they somehow fit that in. But it's just amazing how I don't know how Kansas City managed their cap space or just the contracts they gave out, but like we'll talk about, like it's just a rough scene over there. But it would be something if they could somehow fit Xavier Howard into that, because you look at some of the players they paid, Chris Jones or Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu. It's just like, man, imagine they got him too.
Can I just give you maybe 2 to 3 names and you just tell me if you think they get traded?
Okay.
Do you have anyone else? Do you have anything else?
No, like I want to see what happens with Brandon Ayuk, but I don't think he's gonna get traded.
Well, it's funny you mentioned him because I had 2 receivers on here I wanted to ask you about. This Allen Robinson shit is kind of weird, bro. Like, how is it that this guy he's a really good wide receiver. He's a top wide receiver, I feel like, in the game.
Hasn't been good this year.
And just has become Larry Fitzgerald of last season, where
I just don't think he can. Like, I don't know if he's playing injured, but he just doesn't separate the same. And those contested catch. Because to me, Allen Robinson was like one of the top 3 contested catch receivers. Like, this guy, you put anywhere in his vicinity, he's gonna go get it. And now it just seems like, yeah, some of it could be the offense, but he just doesn't put that same acceleration. So look, maybe he's just angry because he's on a franchise or he's playing injured. And I do agree he needs to change the scenery, but look, let's not put everything on Chicago. Allen Robinson is not playing well right now. So I don't think he's going to get traded now. I just think Chicago is such a stubborn franchise. Matt Nagy's going to do everything possible for them to win now, but I do think wherever he goes next year, I hope he gets back to his best, because right now he just looks like a shell of himself.
He would be perfect on Baltimore.
I think that's something we've been saying for like 2 years. That's another one.
Or a team like even
Raiders could be fun.
You know where else? I mean, what's good with Michael Thomas?
I thought he'd be back in a week. I don't know.
That the word was after week 6 he'd be back, and now he might miss more time because of the ankle, and no one knows anything. He's not talking to anyone. Right. I've never seen an athlete get paid and then completely just
it's been
it's been as if he hasn't been paid yet, and he's been complaining and venting that he wants to get a contract.
Right.
Like, dude signed for $100 million, and it's been downhill since. Ever since he broke that record, the single season receiving record, it's been nothing but a nightmare. Right. In and out the lineup, he's not talking to teammates. He's it's just chaos.
Put up a bagel in the playoffs.
Yeah, just so weird, bro. Yeah. And look, he's not my favorite receiver. He's an elite receiver. Yeah, he's definitely useful in the right system, but I just don't know what's good with him. It's just so weird.
There's been no reports.
Yeah, he's like Kawhi Leonard. Like, he just don't talk to no one. Right. It's just the weirdest shit.
Oh, he'll talk on Twitter, but even that's
yeah. At least you get something out of him. Where Kawhi, you don't hear shit.
I'll never forget when the Vikings played the 49ers in the divisional round a couple years ago. He was literally tweeting during the game. I'm like, you just got eliminated by that team 6 days ago when you were like a 10-point favorite and you were expected to make a Super Bowl run. Get off Twitter. Like, you're not going to win this. You lost to the Vikings.
Yo, the Steelers from like 2013 to 2017, and then from 2017 to 2020, the Saints, the 2 biggest what ifs in the NFL. Like, those teams should have at least went to a Super Bowl.
I definitely think more of the Saints, though, because like they were there. And I've just
home losses too.
Yeah, and I think just some of their losses were so devastating. Like Minneapolis Miracle. Obviously, the conference championship against the Rams with the worst call in NFL history, worst no call, excuse me, and then just that Vikings loss.
What do you think of Odell Beckham? Do you think he gets moved?
Man, we're talking about Allen Robinson looks like a shell of himself. Odell, I don't want to be harsh, but like it doesn't even seem like he can play receiver at this point. And I know the shoulder injury is brutal, but like that Thursday night game, easily drops a slant. Slips on the out route, like. And then even the Arizona game, he had a couple of big drops. It's just he can't even make the plays you expect from a functional receiver, let alone make big plays. Like, it just, I don't know if injuries have caught up to him or he just doesn't seem all that engaged with what Cleveland's doing, even though they think they've one of the more underappreciated play calls in the league. I think Kevin Stefanski. You watch Kevin Stefanski, he is very good play caller. Like, he knows how to run an offense. So I think Odell's in that stage where he needs to change the scenery. But I just think we have to come to senses that it's just he's kind of like a secondary player at this point. Like, you can't expect to build a passing game around him. You just hope he comes up with a couple of spark plays and take it from there.
The other guy that I had in mind, you mentioned the team before, the Eagles being sellers. What do you think of like Barnett going to a team like maybe the Chargers, the Chiefs, Titans? I know I mentioned all AFC teams, but I'm just thinking about teams that can improve their defense. And I'm with you, man. I think the Eagles might be sellers. They've been buyers in the past. Remember, they got Slay.
Oh, yeah. Howie Roseman
and they've made all these moves. Yeah, he's always been the guy who like they acquired Bennett that one time.
Right. They were heavily in the Jalen Ramsey sweepstakes. They still want to give up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So, I think with Barnett, he's still in his prime, and I just think Philly's got to keep some assets. So
that's a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah. The only player I think in his prime that will get traded is Miles Sanders, since they hate using him. But I know he's injured right now.
Oh,
but like, I feel like they have no interest in Miles Sanders at this point.
I saw a graphic and it said that Miles Sanders has the highest, I think, yards per carry in the NFL. It's like, yeah, he only has like 7 snaps.
Yeah, he plays.
And someone tweeted back at me like, no, actually he has like 47. I was like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's the sarcasm behind it.
Philly's quietly one of the toughest watches. Like, their defense is bland. They don't tackle. The offense is just like it's just like, all right, there might be a fun, explosive player now and then, but there's no rhythm. There's no identity. It's just,
bro. Doesn't every Jalen Hurts drop back look the same? Drops back, rolls out to his right. Every single play looks the same.
You know what's funny? We always used to make fun like Mitch Trubisky couldn't throw it to his left. Like, I think Hurts is worse than Trubisky when it comes to that. Like,
yo, you know. An interesting subplot is how Carson Wentz looks now with the Colts. Though I know he had to leave. Like, it was just very similar to Evan Ingram, a guy who just needs a fresh start, right?
The organization flat out gave up on Carson Wentz.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts was a second-round pick, man. Yeah. I did feel from the beginning when he got drafted and after what he did last year and coming into this season, I felt like he was going to be a way better fantasy player than a real-life player, and that's exactly what it's been. Right. Like, dude, I think he scores – if you look at the fantasy rankings, he's like a top 10 QB, and his stats, I think like more than half of them come in the fourth quarter.
All right, he's like the DeAndre Swift, but DeAndre Swift's very good. Like, DeAndre Swift's an awesome player.
Yeah.
But his points come in garbage time from those points. So Jalen Hurts, that's what he does. But hey, look, at least Eagles got an extra first round pick from the Miami trade. That's the thing they could hold their hope for.